How you doing? Oh, you're the chief. How you doing?
Chief, how are you?
Kyle, I'm good. I wanted to give you a heads up about Kyle Walker. Not sure exactly the circumstances that he left Orange City, but there's definitely some issues there. I personally tried to talk to him for months to try to straighten him out and try to educate him on some things. He had a big ego and a real bad attitude. It's documented, you can see it, it's all proven. It's not my word, but violating people's rights, not being familiar with constitutional rights, being a bully, doing things he's not supposed to do and he can't do. I'm just letting you know that you guys just hired a tyrant, and I'm trying to give you a heads up. Maybe you can give him some proper training or whatever. Do you guys look at YouTube videos as a part of the background check? Yeah, that's fine. But no, I mean, it's not really for me. It's mainly for the people in your city and for the image of your department. I'm just genuinely giving you a heads up. That's it. His actions caused Orange City to close down the comments on their Facebook page and bring them a really bad image. And I'm trying to give you a heads up so you don't face the same fate.
You're not with them?
No, I'm good. I'm just giving a warning about Kyle Walker, that's all.
Okay. You don't need help? Right?
No, I'm good. He's gonna bring negative light to this department if you don't heed my warning. I'm just telling you. If you don't heed my warning, you're gonna be turning off your Facebook comments too. I promise you. You'll see. That's the chief. So that was Police Chief Joseph Mahoney of the Edgewater Police Department in Florida, who you will remember recently picked up Kyle Walker after he abruptly resigned without notice from the Orange City Police Department. Links to this video with Mahoney and other links regarding Kyle's resignation can be found in the description. And in those videos, I detailed the circumstances of which Kyle left the department, which is pretty suspicious if you ask me, and still something we're working on. Now, we've got plenty of videos of Kyle Walker from his time at the Orange City Police Department, and those videos brought in a lot of negative attention to the agency. And while it's not just Kyle and his actions, he kind of did kick it all off. By that, I mean the onslaught of negative feedback from the public, which resulted in the agency turning off their Facebook comments. And I was trying to give the new agency, Edgewater, and its chief, Mahoney, a sincere heads up that, hey, this guy needs some work. I don't know if you're aware of the things that went on before, but if you're going to have them and you want to protect your people and your image, you got your work cut out for you. And you heard what I said there. I wasn't being a jerk, but I told him if you don't heed this warning, you're going to turn Edgewater's Facebook comments off too. He knows I said it. You know I said it. Most of us know I was being genuine. And it didn't take long because just a few days later, Edgewater turned off their Facebook comments on the department's Facebook page. Can't make this stuff up. I was also told by several people that they reached out to Mahoney and the department via email to express concerns about the situation, and the city allegedly started blocking their emails. They were getting the response that their email address had been blocked from the recipient, which is a huge no-no. Back to Facebook though, on this day that I was talking to the chief, they had a post on their Facebook page welcoming Kyle Walker with a photo. This post right here. And at the same time that they turned off their comments, they removed Kyle's photo from that post. Kind of odd, right? But also, as part of the background check, you would think that they would reach out, make phone calls to the previous department, in this case being Orange City Police Department, maybe even to the chief himself, to ask about Kyle's history with them. And they must not have said too negative things because Edgewater was willing to look past the fact that he abruptly quit on them without notice during his probation period. But Orange City's chief, Wayne Miller, just days ago, doesn't seem to speak very highly of Kyle. Kyle started it.
I was just gonna say, and I'm not, and I know you're running and stuff.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, he's at another agency or whatever. He's no longer here. Let me just say
right.
that.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
But
so what Miller just said there was, hey, I know that you're recording, so I'm not going to speak openly, but let's just say he's no longer here. He's with a different agency now. Anybody familiar with law enforcement knows what that means. I'm sure it's not just law enforcement. But that means I could speak the truth, but I don't want it to get back to the person. So let's just say they're no longer here, if you catch my drift. But that's curious. If Miller doesn't think highly of Kyle, and he left abruptly, without notice, during his probationary period, after about 7 months, and he signs a contract saying he'll stay for at least a year, well, how the heck did Kyle get hired at Edgewater? Surely Miller or whoever they spoke to was honest with Edgewater, right? Unfortunately, this is something very common. Now, I'm speculating because I do not yet know the exact circumstances, but I know Kyle's history with Orange City. And I know Miller appears to not think highly of him, but oftentimes things happen, and these are things that shouldn't happen. And before action can be taken, before the cop can be fired or whatever might happen, they resign. Sometimes they have to do it right now on the spot. This allows them to go to another agency. And sometimes, on account of that blue line, the previous agency will give them a good reference, maybe even help them out with their excuse to justify their sudden departure. These are dirty, shady things, and they're very, very common. And this is how bad cops get retained. They hop from town to town, agency to agency, with the full support and backing of the blue line. But now I want to pop into Orange City so we can inquire about that agency turning off their Facebook comments. Obviously, we know it's to silence the people and to limit the number of people that hear about their actions, their negative actions. And this, of course, is to try to protect their image. But what reason might they give, if any? Surely they won't say the truth. But it's crazy that they don't seem to get it, or they don't care, and I'm going with the latter. Because only they have the ability to control the type of feedback they give through their actions, or the feedback that they get through their actions. And I've brought them so many opportunities to make it right, turn this around, and you'll see people will respond more positively than they have so far.
Question, do you know, in reference to the Facebook comments on this agency's page, do you know if they were turned off because of Kyle Walker?
I have no idea why they were turned off.
Or who could answer how they were turned off, or why they were... Who's in charge of it? Like, who oversees it? Social media.
I don't know. I'll have to go find out. Hold on.
Maybe it's just me, but she seemed kind of annoyed that I'm asking the question. But these are legitimate things that people want to know. I mean, it doesn't look good when you've got your social media for so long. It's all fun and games with your comments until a lot of people see negative actions by some members of the department, and you just shut it down. It's like, we could make it positive, but we'd rather just make it so people can't speak anymore. But hang on tight. We're about to get sent in a direction that I did not expect when I was making this video.
Well, obviously the chief is over our social media.
Yeah.
But the decision to turn it off was the city's decision.
It was the city's decision? Oh, really?
Yeah.
So would that go back to Dale Arrington?
Or Jeremy, one of the two, yeah.
And Jeremy is, what's Jeremy? HR?
Resources.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I mean, I imagine ultimately it's because the negative feedback, but I wanted to see. How you doing?
All right, how you doing today?
Oh, all right. Anyway, I wanted to see if they had any plans to turn it back on. Chief, he's got the power to safely, comfortably turn them back on, I think.
It's a city, all the city social medias are turned off, so that's a city thing.
Okay. I mean, I assume Kyle started that. He's over at Edgewater now, and Edgewater already turned off their comments. So
wow.
That was pretty quick.
Yeah.
But the problem is he's still backing what Kyle did. So, I mean, if you could get over that hump, you guys could probably turn him back on. But, all right, I guess I'll go across the street. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So that's pretty funny. I'm being directed to Dale Arrington, who's the city manager. And many of you who followed the channel for a while, you already know. We've seen in videos with her that she's not much of a fan of speaking to me, I don't think. She does not have a good poker face and seems to trip herself up from time to time when she mixes truth with untruth. So I didn't expect that I would be seeking to speak with her today, but I would like to see what reason they may give for turning off their Facebook comments and trying to keep the people's voices from being heard. So we're going to go in here to City Hall and we'll see if she's in here. Side note, did you hear that and see the reflection of the door closing in the glass in front of me? Like I just stepped into a haunted house. So I just peeked into that doorway into her office, and I do see Dale Arrington sitting there at her desk, but she seems to be the only person here. I'm afraid if she knows it's me, she's going to close the door and pretend not to be there. So I'm clomping and squeaking around a little bit on these old wood floors, hoping she'll hear that someone is out here and come to greet me.
Hello?
Sorry, I'm back here working. I
Oh, okay, it's okay. That's a surprise.
Surprise! How can I help you?
I was just curious. I went across the street. They sent me over here. Because they said someone in the city was in charge of it. Social media, the decision to turn off the city's Facebook comments, they said either you or Jeremy to speak to one of you.
Okay, how can I help you?
I was just curious. I think I know. Were they turned off because of negative feedback?
We turned them off for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
Turned them off, one, because they were blowing up with comments, much of which was negative,
Right.
full of dirty words, very nasty comments.
Yeah.
And then in addition,
Some of them were. Yeah, I saw them. Yeah.
There were some of both.
There was,
But
right.
I want to say the precipitating reason why I turned it off is decided not to take comments or anything from anybody. Just use it to put information out for.
Yeah.
And it was because when I woke up and checked our Facebook comments coming in, unfortunately we had some very vile graphic material also embedded. And
really?
so when you took everything all together, the negative comments, and I'm not saying they were your followers, but it was just people jumping on the bandwagon.
Well, people see them everywhere.
I just decided it was better just not to have comments.
Yeah.
And the decision was made some time ago.
Yeah, well, I remember.
Like months ago.
Yeah.
And it's worked well without it.
Yeah, and
we
I
just make announcements.
Right.
Really.
And I understand you can't, a government entity can't delete certain comments, and they can't say that you can comment, but you can't. So it's either all or nothing.
It's all or nothing.
And a lot of that negativity, it stemmed from, well, we know what it stemmed from. Matter of fact, that very same incident all stemmed from there. It kind of progressed after there, but it stemmed from that incident, with Kyle Walker.
It may have, but then it went on and got a life of its own.
Yeah.
So.
But I tried to tell Miller over there, and the department, they have the power to make it so they can be on and they can earn positive comments and they can earn respect. Kyle Walker, who's no longer with this agency, he's been with Edgewater now for just a couple of weeks. They've already turned off their Facebook comments now. Just within a week after he showed up there, whoop, they turned off their Facebook comments. I'm seeing a common denominator. I just want somebody to learn from it. I'm not looking for a lawsuit. If I wanted a lawsuit, I have what I need, right? But what does that do? That causes the taxpayers to have to pay, and then an agency isn't going to learn anything because they didn't pay for it, right? I want people to learn from these things. And it's super simple. Look at it and say, oops, that shouldn't happen. We got to get on top of that. Thanks for bringing it to our attention. And they take care of it, simple as that.
We turned it off, and it's worked out just fine.
Yep.
Most people can find our emails on our website, and or they call. So I think all of our communication is doing good.
Okay? That heat is nasty.
Other social media sites pick up our postings and then promulgate them.
Yeah.
It was mainly a way of getting information out to the public about all of our events, our meeting times, handy tips about watering rules.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good.
Really doing pretty good with the comments all turned off.
I just want to let the city know these are the type of things that will let you have your comments on without having to worry about the negative
comments.
comments.
Fine without it.
Oh yeah, you are fine. Yeah. I just wanted to narrow it down.
We're doing good.
Yeah.
So thanks for your concern, and that's really the reason was, we can't control what the citizenry does. So if they're gonna want to say really negative, nasty, curse words.
But just ultimately, it was the negative attention that was drawn by certain members of the agency that brought that attention. So without that vulgarity and those things never would have been. And
maybe, but you can't go backwards in time.
You can't. No, but you can go forwards.
You can, and we're really glad with the way we're
doing and that's my goal.
I think it was a good step forward to review.
Yeah, and going forward, I hope that the actions are. I hope everybody's learned something from it, and going forward, you can't go backward, but going forward, I do hope to do the right thing. And if they were able to receive feedback, I hope what they would earn would be positive.
Well, I would too.
That's my goal.
Thank you.
We have the same goal.
So Dale Arrington, who is, not famous for having a good poker face, she basically said, yeah, well, we didn't like the negative attention that the police department was drawing through their unlawful actions and violating people's rights. So we went ahead and turned them off. But then there was also another reason. That's pretty funny. That's funny. But yeah, we know why they turned them off. And, they would just rather not turn them off. What I said there is they can earn the positive feedback. Like I've always said, that police department right there, Orange City, they can earn positive feedback. It doesn't have to be all negative. They hold the power. I don't control the feedback that they get. I just show you their actions. You decide what feedback you give them if you decide to reach out and give feedback. But it's what they earn. I'm not telling you what to say. I'm not in your mind. None of you have puppet strings. I can't tell you what to feel, what to think, or what to say. So if they want to earn positive feedback, they know what they got to do. But you heard it from her. She'd just rather keep them off. Because why? Because it's unlikely, unfortunately, that they're going to be able to just do the right thing and earn the positive feedback. And that's sad to say, but it's the reality we see.